Okay, cool. And Baron. Guys, we have David here today. He's been one of our best performing clients so far, to be honest, in terms of the amounts of leads that we managed to book for him. I'm more than happy to have you today, David. First things first, why don't you tell us a bit about your background and like what type of work you're doing as a writer, and just introduce yourself.
Yeah, sure. So my name is David Congreve. I'm a copywriter and ghostwriter based in Leeds in the UK. Been doing this for about 17 years. Copywriting industry is a little bit weird at the moment for various reasons, which I won't bore you with now, but it sort of prompted me early in the year to focus more on the ghostwriting side of things. I very much like the ghostwriting side of things anyway, so this is a good move for me. And I was contemplating at the beginning of the year, how can I find more ghostwriting clients? Because it's the kind of field where you mainly get clients through referrals, or people being introduced to you. And they're sort of relatively few and far between. I've averaged maybe one a year for the last 15 years, which is fine, but I would like a lot more. So I was trying to figure that out, and was introduced to Dennis, and here we are.
Yeah, awesome. And we've been working together. I know June was the first month of outreach, right? So we've kind of signed the documents in May, but June was like when you officially started, right?
Yeah, I think so. So I think we've been doing about 6 weeks now.
Yeah, about 6 weeks. Actually, no, it's about seven. So we're closing in
Okay.
a few months now, since we started. Yeah, man, like just a quick question to touch based on what you said earlier. Just the fact that you found us when you were looking to get more clients. Did you have any sort of like hesitation before joining the program? Like that you've managed to overcome over the last 2 months, or how do you feel?
Um, no, I was very much sold on it straight away after watching the video. Um, and it wasn't just the video itself; it was the way in which it was structured, the follow-up emails to make sure that I attended the appointment. It all looked very slick, and it occurred to me very quickly, right, that this is the process I'm going through now is the process that you are selling.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, I want this. This looks like it'll work. It's working on me. I think this is going to work on my potential clients as well. So I was very much sold on it straight away. It was very much when we got on the call, it was always going to come down to, is the price right or
Yeah.
not?
Yeah, of
Which
course.
is great for a sales call, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, of course. Um, awesome, man, awesome. And do you feel like, for the price that you paid at that time, do you feel like that you got your value for it, or how do you feel about, the
Oh
ROI?
well, I've already made my money back about 6 times over, so yes, that's
Yeah,
that's
that's pretty good to
that's a
know.
no-brainer. Yeah,
Yeah, and as you said, it's just the start. I mean, as we said earlier, we've been doing this for just close to 8 weeks now. So I'm excited to see how things will go until the end of year. And happy to increase your average yearly project rate that you mentioned earlier. Um,
yeah.
let me know like what kind of results have we generated so far in terms of booked calls for the month of July. I remember last time when we spoke, it was like 21 or 22, but I'm not sure if we got any new ones.
Yeah, I think because with the LinkedIn, we ran out of in mails a couple of days last week, so
Yeah,
it's quieting down. Obviously, tomorrow is 1st of August; it'll kick up again.
yeah.
But yeah, I think 22 calls were booked in. I don't know my exact show up rate, but it's probably around 70 to 80%. It's been really good this month.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I think that's probably to do with we had a discussion about changing the way that we do the messaging,
Yeah.
and that seems to have worked a lot better. The show up rate's been really, really good.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
I know
and the
we
quality release has been great as well. There's been very one or two tie kickers, but I would say 80 to 90% of them have been really good leads.
nice, nice. Yeah, and I know we've gone through like two different industries and we've tested a
Yeah,
few things to come here, but that's just the power of consistency and just being open to different angles. And I love how the new industry is going as well. Yeah, actually, has been like not even a full month, right, for doing this new industry. So I'm excited to see.
yeah, only a couple of weeks. It's
Yeah,
been
yeah,
really good, and it wasn't even as if the first industry was a bad one. The leads were still really good. It just seemed to be out of the price point for that particular industry.
yeah,
Whereas I
yeah.
think for this new industry, I don't think that's going to be as much of an issue. It's a field where that pays a lot more basically. So I'm speaking to people who have got more cash available, which
Yeah,
is
yeah,
always
like
good.
for what you do, it's like this is also one of the most important things I feel with the leads. They need to be financially qualified because your service isn't cheap. And even if someone can, hypothetically speaking, afford 2,000, 3,000 a month that they would usually pay for other types of copywriting services, Even if you split it down into payments for them, it's still kind of a hard investment to make. So I'm glad, we could find like an industry where people just have the cash available and ready to go, so we can transform these calls into actual clients, right?
Definitely. And there's a lot of people in this industry, so it's quite a rich field.
Yeah.
And I've got other industries in mind as well. So
Yeah. But
got
don't
more
worry,
ideas to come.
we're not going to run out of leads for
We're
this.
not going to run out. There's what
Yeah.
a billion people on LinkedIn. I think we'll be good for the
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
the next few hundred years at least.
Yeah, and there's constantly like new people joining the industry as well, which are, like
Got it.
fresh leads. And especially for what you do, I feel like that's a great service, because most people will try to make a name for themselves, and it's easier to do that when they have a book written, right? And
That's the
yeah.
idea. Yeah.
But awesome. Like, just to kind of, end here with, what the results have been so far, and then I'd like to get into a few more like strategy questions. Tell us a little bit about the project that came through just a few days ago. Like, how does that look like in terms of the fee structure, and like what's going to be the work that you're going to do for that person?
Okay, so this is a recruitment executive, been in the industry for many years. He's 70 years old now, and he wants to write a book that is kind of his legacy. This is how he does recruitment and how he believes it should be done. So it was been something that's been on his mind for a while. The message came through, obviously, just at the right time for him.
Yeah.
Interestingly, he said that he gets, because he's in a very senior position, he gets hundreds of sales messages from people. But he said mine stood out. And I've been getting that quite a lot, which is interesting. I don't know what it is about the message particularly, but it's obviously coming across as quite natural and organic. He watched the video and he liked the video. And he was very much like me. I think I got the impression once we actually got on the call, he was already sold. It was always only going to come down to, did I seem legitimate? Was the price going to be correct?
Yeah.
So the offer I made to him, it was to write the book for him, but also to do all the design work. So actually produce the book and get it onto Amazon for him. It's not a service that a lot of ghostwriters provide. So that's kind of my USP. Because some people will get a ghostwriter, write a book, they don't know what to do with it after that. So it just sits on their computer. So the idea that I can do that whole end-to-end service is really attractive. So excuse me, I'm getting over COVID, so I'm still a little bit croaky. So the full price was a little over $25,000. I spent about 35 minutes on the call with him, going through the process. He was really happy with it. I showed him the prices. It took me about 3 or 4 seconds to say, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
And I did that whole thing where I showed him the options about the price and said, which one are you leaning toward? Which one do you like? He's like, oh, very much the gold one. That's the one I want. So then it was just a case of, well, here are the prices. What do you think? And he was just, yeah, straight away was ready to go. We got the deposit just paid yesterday. So that's come through already. So I got a 10% deposit. And he's set to pay the remaining balance in about 2 weeks, which is very exciting. It's the biggest single fee I've received for a ghostwriting project. I've had other ones that have paid more over a longer period of time because the project's got extended. But for just a one-off project where the scope's already been agreed, it's the highest fee I've ever received.
Nice.
So that's fabulous. And like I say, that's multiple times what I've paid to get this set up. So I'm already in profit, and that's just after 6 weeks or 7 weeks even.
Yeah, sounds pretty good. And I have to mention this, guys, as well, like for the people maybe watching this interview, that David has been an exceptional client as well when it comes to communication and just keeping track of things, and also implementing on what we advise, and in being open to finding solutions. And that's also one thing that was a big factor in getting these types of results.
Thank you. Yeah, I think it's one of the things I wasn't fully expecting. I don't know if it's because I missed that when we talked, or maybe you didn't talk up enough, but it really has felt like there's been a sales coaching element to this process, where you've really sort of walked me through how to get these leads over the line. I've done a little bit of sales training in the past, but what you've gone through me has been really, really helpful. So it feels like what you're giving is way above and beyond what I was expecting.
Nice.
That you're sort of hands-on. It's not the case you set it up and off you go. You've been very hands-on. I really appreciated that.
Yeah, and I'm glad we could make it work for you, David. And that's one very important thing, when we do something like this for someone and it's done for you. I don't expect you to get something that's built by me and fully understand it yourself before I even come in and help you with it, right? So
Yeah.
I'm glad that we could get that covered as well for you. But like, what was it about the most important thing for you from this entire process? Like, was it the sales? Was it the fact that it's done for you? Like, what was the single most important thing for you from this process?
Just the outbound nature of it. I tried doing a little bit of outbound sales myself early in the year. It was a complete flop. I really didn't know what I was doing with it, and that was my mistake, was not finding someone who knew what they were doing. So your offer came along right at the proper time, because I was thinking about how can I wanted to do more proactive work. So much of my business over the years has just been incoming and just relying on that, and it's very much, it's up and down, it's up and down.
Yeah.
I wanted control of it, so it was. So I wanted someone who knew how to do the outbound sales and had a system for it. I saw your system in action. I was like, oh, I can see why this would work better than what I was doing. So that's what I wanted. So that was a big part of it, and also the fact that you helped set up the outbound specialist. So I didn't have to spend. I was spending an hour or two a day sending out about 20 to 30 messages. Now I'm spending zero time, and there's nearly 100 messages going out today. That's perfect. That's the kind of scale that I needed.
Yeah.
So shouldn't say I'm spending no time, because obviously I'm following up with the messages when we get a bite. But it's a fraction of the time compared to what I was doing when I tried this early in the year. So that was the attraction for me, definitely.
Yeah, awesome. Awesome. Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that, since we've just been at this for a little bit under 2 months, like as time goes, your outbound specialist will get a knowledge with the type of responses you usually give people, and she will be able to take a more um like hands-on approach to that, where you will still, reduce the amount of time it takes you to get back to those people. But yeah, no, David, this has been a great interview, and I appreciate your honest thoughts and everything that we've kind of gone through here. Do you have any advice for other copywriters or ghostwriters, that are kind of um, in a position where they need more clients? Like,
Yeah, I think I would say that outbound sales is the way to go. It's a little bit scary, because we're not salespeople. Most people that get into writing do it because we're a little bit introverted, and we like just sitting on our own and tapping on our keyboard. But I think in the long run, if you want your business to survive, it's something you have to do, because the industry is so flooded with people trying to get into copywriting and different writing fields. It's one of those fields where you can kind of just set yourself up and say, "Hey, I'm a writer," and off you go. And it's just the market is just flooded at the moment. But the good news is that 99.999% of those, they won't have the wherewithal to do this. They won't be prepared to commit the funds. They won't have the commitment to actually try doing outbound sales. So there's an untapped market here. There's a way to get into it, because I've no doubt the kind of people I'm speaking to now, if they carried on the course they're going, eventually they would post on LinkedIn saying, "Oh, I'm looking for a writer, I'm looking for a ghostwriter." And then they'd be swamped with hundreds of people wanting that work. But I'm getting to them before that stage, because I'm getting to them while it's still just in their head. So I don't have to compete with anybody else, because I've already got their 100% of their attention. So I think this is definitely the way to go if you want consistent clients, and if you want to take control of that process, so you've actually got consistency in business coming in. I definitely think this is the way to go.
nice, nice. And I agree with you. I mean, the more people you get in front of every single day, no matter if it's outbound, inbound, or whatever you're doing, then the more chances you have to actually land those projects. But there is a difference between getting in front of people while you're in a crowd and getting in front of people, as in shaking their hands one on one and just building that relationship and connection, Um, but Alan, any closing thoughts here before we kind of wrap up?
No, I think that's it really. As you know, I think we talked about it before. I've relied very much on LinkedIn for clients, and it's worked really well right until the point that it didn't, because as I said, it's just become swamped with people, also driving the price down. So yeah, this is just coming on at the right time. So I think if you're in the same situation where you're just not getting as many leads as you are, you're finding it harder because of the competition, then this is the right move. It just puts the power back in your hands, and as a business owner, a small business owner, that's what you need to do.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thanks, David, for everything that we've gone through today, and hopefully we will be able to record another one of these in a couple of months in a nice vacation somewhere. If we, with all of
Yeah,
the
that would be nice. Yes.
25K projects, and then you're not actually that far away from me. Like you're a 2-hour flight away, so
That's
maybe.
not bad. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I have been looking at some holidays some
Yeah,
for
yeah.
later in
Well,
the
you,
year.
you
So
should, man, because you deserve
you
it.
never know.
You
You never know.
deserve it. So, but yeah, thanks a lot, and it's been a great interview.
Thank you.